is entering a new era for themselves, and that is Alabama. Uh, this past weekend officially marked the beginning of the Kalen DeBoer era in Tuscaloosa, and it's safe to say that they did not disappoint. They defeated Western Kentucky by a score of 63 to nothing, which is actually only 3 points shy of Nick Saban's highest point turnout during his era, which was 66. So like I said, Alabama defeated Western Kentucky by a score of 63 to nothing. The offense for Alabama in the first couple of drives, particularly in the first quarter, started out a little stagnant. It took a while for them to get into a rhythm, but due to Alabama being able to create 2 turnovers in the first quarter, led to easy field position for Alabama, and it led to easy scoring opportunities. Jalen Milroe went 7 for 9 with 200 yards and 3 touchdowns, and backup quarterback Ty Simpson went 5 of 9 for 66 yards. And I want to say this real quick about Ty Simpson. He looks much better than he did last year. But Ty Simpson was, a huge 4-star recruit, I believe he was, coming out of high school and going to Alabama. So once Jalen Milroe leaves, I do believe that the quarterback position will still be in good hands for Alabama. But listen, Alabama dominated on the ground as usual. Even under Kalen DeBoer, they had 334 yards on the ground. Justice Haynes had 4 carries for 102 yards. He broke off a big 82-yard run for a touchdown. Jalen Milroe had 10 carries for 79 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jam Miller had 5 carries for 54 yards. And Daniel Hill had 9 carries for 29 yards. Kevin Riley had 7 carries for 26 yards. And Kendrick Law had 1 carry for 7 yards. Richard Young had 6 carries for 8 yards. So the wealth was spread throughout on the ground for Alabama. And I will say this about Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe looks much better than he did last year in terms of being poised in the pocket and standing tall in the pocket, and his ability to hit his receivers with accuracy in the intermediate game. Something that Jalen Milroe struggled with last year was his accuracy, like I said, in the mid to intermediate game. We all know how big of an arm he has and how well he is at throwing the deep ball. But you could tell that DeBoer and the staff at Alabama worked with him on his pocket presence and his ability to move up in the pocket and to throw, like I said, that medium to intermediate throw with precision. Obviously, he's still one of the best runners in college football. And like I said last week, I'm thoroughly surprised that he is not on more people's Heisman watch list. Obviously, he's on my Heisman watch list, but I do believe that he will be a legitimate Heisman candidate over the course of the season, especially if Alabama can defeat Georgia and Texas and Oklahoma during the regular season. And obviously, the receiving corps for Alabama looked explosive, very quick as well, led by freshman Ryan Williams, who's only 17 years old, actually reclassified to move up a year to go to school early, which is something that you rarely, if ever, see. I can't recall ever seeing a football player, especially, reclassify to go to school a whole year early. Typically what you see, especially with basketball, you see guys reclassify to go down, but like I said, Ryan Williams reclassified to move up a year, which is very impressive, very surprising to me. And Kobe Prentice, who I believe is going to be Alabama's most consistent receiver, had 3 receptions for 43 yards. Kendrick Law had a reception for 22 yards as well. Kendrick Law's his game reminds me of Jahmyr Gibbs, and I believe that's the sort of impact he's going to have on Washington's offense this season. A running back that can play in the slot effectively, but also be a great runner at the running back position, specifically on zone reads and sweeps. So the only thing that concerns me about Alabama's receiving core is they don't have much size. I believe their tallest receiver on the roster is 6'4". Besides that, the average height is 6 foot, or I believe it's 5. It was 6 foot or 6'1". But they're all about the same size, so there's not a lot of height, but a lot of explosiveness, and they're all proficient at run blocking, which is something that is a consistent point, a common point under Kalen DeBoer-led teams, and that was also something that was common under Nick Saban-led teams as well. And on the defense, listen, the secondary for Alabama looks phenomenal, which is something that I talked about as well, obviously led by Malachi Moore. Keon Sapp had 2 interceptions, but yeah, I do believe that Alabama's secondary is going to be the key to their success. I would like to see more from them in their front seven, specifically at the linebacker position. Who's going to step up and be that leader that the Alabama is known for having at that position? You know, from Reggie Ragland to Reuben Foster to Ryan Anderson to Chris Braswell to Dallas Turner. A plethora of players to play that linebacker position for Alabama. Who's going to be that next guy on this current iteration for Alabama? But all in all, I was thoroughly impressed with what I saw from Alabama. Though it was against Western Kentucky, it was nice to see the Kalen DeBoer-led Alabama team and the Kalen DeBoer era get off to a good start. And let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Were you guys impressed with what you saw from Alabama? Is there any cause for concern? Was there anything that stood out to you from Alabama that might be a cause for concern for you guys? Let me know what you guys think. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. With that being said, though, guys, that's it for our show for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Listen, we'll be back again tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with our college football show as well as our NFL show. So be sure to stick around for that and watch it, guys. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button as well, so you guys can stay up to date on all related content they post daily. And if you'd like to get exclusive content, be sure to follow us on Patreon as well. You can do so by going to patreon.com, clicking on the search bar, and typing in "Sorry to Bother You" show. We'll be back again, guys, same time tomorrow, like I said, 1:30 p.m. Continue to stay safe, be vigilant, make smart decisions. Until next time, peace.